Ah, f me.
Don't be scared. Just level up, Don't be
So as you can see, all that work that I did in the past couple weeks to get this wire loom sorted up a little better, it's just got to be redone, completely redone. I didn't have enough length at the back of the cable to get the starter hooked up. I don't know if someone pulled it at some point, cut it off, what the case may be. But I ended up having to just shoot the wire through the firewall, which was a better way to put it, instead of somewhere where it was a little closer to rub against. I'm going to be able to secure it better inside of the car, at the end of the car. So all I'm really working on right now is getting the correct length for that starter wire, and then I'll make sure to bundle everything back up and redo it, because doing it the right way isn't always the easy way. Hardly ever is, but I'm doing it the right way.
I can't be mad at anyone else but myself. I really should have just done it this way from the beginning because I know how particular I am, and it would have just helped to do it then. I've got to do it now.
To do here is work my way backwards. I'm going to get the starter wire hooked up first and repaired and get that set to a good, I don't know, just a good way to come off of the starter, get that redone just because it's the right way to do it. Once I've got that set where I want to and going through this hole in the firewall a little better, I'm going to go ahead and redo all the wiring here, work my way backwards till I get to the back of the car. So now I've got the starter wire repaired. As I found out, as many of these ring terminals as I've seen, they over tightened it and it egged it out. So that was going to make pretty bad contact, and they just kind of had it electrical taped at the end. What I ended up doing was just putting a new ring terminal in there and using some heat shrink to get that on there. And it's always interesting to me to find that when I fix one thing, I can't leave just that one thing alone. I ended up redoing this entire loom here just so that I could get this starter wire to sit closer and a lot better instead of it being all the way down here and zip tied to the frame as it was. However, having redone this entire wiring, even all the way out to the front fans here, I ended up cleaning this up too and putting some wire loom and heat shrink around those. This connector I'm still not too happy with, but I don't have the right connector other than an open spade and a closed spade right now. So I've just got it ran through here. However, I'm not even going to pretend to be mad. This looks so much better. I appreciate how everything is in here better and just doing things the right way for me. I don't care how long it takes. I'm going to do it the right way because that's how I want the job to be done. Now that I've got that starter wire ran where I want to, I ran it down in front of this drive shaft tunnel and put some wire loom around it to give it some better protection. I feel like it's got a lot more length, so I'm going to work on securing this wire loom together so I can get my lengths all set and get everything put back together, and then get back to the back of the car so I can get back to where I was trying to be today.
Once I had my base wire harness set and adjusted where I wanted it, I trimmed back all of my zip ties in preparation to include the starter wire back into this harness. I plucked out some more cable ties, this time using white ones to distinguish the difference between what held the starter wire to the harness and what held the rest of the wire harness loom. I did this intentionally in case I needed to go back and separate the starter wire harness. I knew exactly which zip ties I was going to have to cut to make my adjustments. Once I had the wire harness readjusted, I began to reinstall the wire loom for what I can only hope will be the last time. And here we are finally at the back of the car.
Now, when I say that I'd rather do things the right way, that's the right way for me. I, by all means, could do it running this wire harness the way it was before and the way I had it before. However, I found that it's going to look a lot cleaner if I can run these wires behind this down tube, because there is enough room. That'll also give me enough slack in the wires in case something goes wrong and needs some extra length. So what I'm going to do is I've got this zip tied all the way through this wire loom. I've got the starter wire coming out through part of the wire loom. And I'm going to electrical tape a certain section, probably to about here, for my wires. And then I might get some heat shrink. Actually, you know what? It might be better to just get some heat shrink so that I can cover those and have that not exposed, and then use electrical tape where I need to cover up the rest of it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Well, heat shrink's not going to work because I already have the ring terminal on there. I don't have another one. So I'll just have to stick with the electrical tape.
Now that I've gone through Struggle Bus 2.0, aka putting the wire loom over the wiring harness, it's time to install my favorite part, the Velcro straps. Yay!
So now I'm at the point that I've been working hard for, not only today, but for the past 2 or 3 weeks or so. I'm finally getting ready to put my connections on now that I have my wiring schematic to tell me where to go. Now that I've got the wires set the way that I think that they should be. Now that I have the correct lengths and everything that I feel can go wrong is kind of corrected, at least as best as I can get it right now. So I'm going to go ahead and make these connections, and then I'm going to jump over to the switch panel, make sure everything's hooked up. And I'm also going to have my headlight hooked up as a test light so I can tell when I have power and make sure that I do have power. Okay, well, moment of truth. Got my switch panel back in. I've got my electronics hooked up the way I need to. I've got my test button for my headlight over there. I've got the lights back on, everything like that. I think everything's hooked up. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip the kill switch and hopefully no Bernie. We'll see. Can't do this one-handed. Okay. No immediate sparks. Kill switch is on. Don't see any fire. Do see a light. Looks like I've got a light here. General proved light. Guess that means it has power. We're also going to go ahead and flip our headlights on, see if those have power. It does. It's good. Let's go ahead and flip ignition and see what happens. We've got another light, so that's good. Got what I believe is blowers down here. We'll flip that, see what happens. Got another light. We got some... Yep, we got some fan movement. That blower's moving. So I'm going to go ahead and shut that off. Don't have the ignition coils unhooked yet. Let me go ahead and do that. Alright, I've got the spark plug wires. Guess this is moment of truth. Oh, it's the neutral light. Okay, so I'm in neutral, so that's good. Fingers crossed. Got some movement, we've got some lights. So I'm gonna say overall right now, I'm pretty ecstatic. I didn't hear any issues out of it. It started over, or at least it turned over. Got my lights. It's all really good. It's a really good sign. I'm really happy about that. Well, I've got the vehicle starter able to turn the engine over, so I'm going to call that a big plus. It's a lot accomplished with that wiring, especially being as particular as I am. I do not have a compression fitting that is small enough to fit this cylinder head. I did take the spark plugs out though, and one thing that is a little disconcerting, the spark plug is a little wet, which could mean that this engine may have a bad head gasket. It's showing a little bit of oil up on the spark plugs. I don't know if there's spark plug tubes on this. There is a possibility that it's just spark plug tubes that are going bad, leaking everything down. However, I feel I would have seen that on the white part of the spark plug. So I'm not going to let that get me down. I'm just going to keep going and keep looking at progress is progress. Good progress is great. Hopefully we don't run into bad progress, but sometimes it happens. I feel like I've gotten a lot accomplished in this episode, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap everything up for today. So I'm going to call that it for episode 14. Thank you guys for sticking around, watching to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like and subscribe to New Yankee Auto Systems. We really appreciate any likes, comments, subscribes, shares, follows that we can get. Stay tuned because we've still got a lot coming on this one.
I'm in a race that everybody's chasing fast. They wanna be that someone on the screen at last. They ain't looking inside for their needs in life. They wanna be liked by everybody in sight. But trust me, being free ain't spotlights. No, it's long nights and it's long fights with yourself all the time to get your mind right. But if you put in the work, you can find the light, alright.